All right, here we go. All right, EDU 300. This is Billy, and we are here with our guest star today, Matt Drewette-Card. Matt, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk PLN, professional learning networks, Twitter, all that kind of good stuff. It's going to be hopefully a good time.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. And of course, we have Becca with us.
Hey guys, coming at you live from the Wells High School guidance office tonight.
Yes, awesome. And Amy's joined us right now. How you doing, Amy?
Good, thank you.
Great.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Hey, thank you for joining us. Throughout this broadcast, we might have other students popping in, and we'll greet them as they come. But for now, I want to turn it over to Matt. He's going to talk about his PLN and what his PLN means to him. And he's also going to walk you guys through his website / blog with Weebly and kind of show you how he's built it and the type of content that he adds to his blog that's meaningful to him. So Matt, we'll hand it over to you, man. It's your show for now.
All right.
Go for it, Matt.
Thanks, Billy. Thanks, Becca. Yeah, this is going to be some fun because I love talking about this stuff. I've just give a little bit of background for who I am. My name is Matt. I am a curriculum instruction and assessment coordinator for AOS 94. That's a district that's centered out of Dexter, Maine, which is basically the geographical center of Maine. We kind of battle between the town of Sangerville, but quite frankly, we're going to take that title because, well, I work there and I'm allowed to do that, just because I can. And we're AOS 94 is comprised of 3 different school districts: MSAD 46, the Harmony School District, and Athens. So each 3 of those are independent school districts, and then we all come together for administration under the AOS, which is all very boring that none of you want to know about. So I was asked to kind of come in here today to talk about the PLN, or the Professional Learning Network, and what that kind of means to me, and how it all works out. And I have to be honest, I just stumbled into this PLN thing. I stumbled into this Twitter thing a few years ago. I remember getting on it in like 2009-ish, and it was only because I had seen some things like, oh, there's this thing called Twitter. Oh, it's new social media. And I tend to have this thing where, all right, I'll sign up for something. I'll put my name out there. Why not? And if I don't like it, I'll forget about it, and who cares? So I got into Twitter, and I started just following random celebrities that I liked, sports figures that I liked, and I remember this one time I was following Ashton Kutcher, who back in the day was like huge. He was like one of the Twitter phenoms, and all of a sudden starts streaming live via Twitter, via this other app or program, in between takes of a movie he was doing. And I said, oh, that's really freaking cool. He's really doing that, like right now. And then I started thinking, how could I bring that into my classroom? How could I do that kind of thing in my classroom? So I started to kind of think about, well, is that even possible? And then I started thinking, is anyone else doing this? And so then I started poking around on social media, but mostly Twitter, and I found some other educators. What I wound up doing is I said, oh, there's actually quite a few teachers and educators out there that I read their stuff, I respect it, so I'll follow them and see what they have to do, what they have to say. What I then did is, as I was looking at what they were saying, I asked, well, who are they following? The people who I read, who I listen to, who I respect, who do they listen to? Who do they respect? And that started to build up this whole tree of people who I started to be very passively connected with. And I just started to read and learn, and I would occasionally send something out. I'd occasionally tweet something. And then I got involved in Twitter chats. The very first one I ever did was hashtag SBL chat. I'll write that in.
Matt, well, you're looking. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, Matt, it's a great point because we just want our students to understand that this is just a starting point, and the PLN is what you make of it. So we've had some students who have signed up for Twitter, and they're saying, okay, now what do I do? Where do I go from here? Is this the PLN now? So kind of clarifying that point for them. Hey, like once you're signed up, it's a starting point. But I love what you said about finding some people you're interested in, seeing who they follow, and then over time it kind of evolves into whatever you want it to be.
That's the thing, is that I didn't know what it was going to be. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know this thing PLN even existed. I was stuck in a mindset of the only kind of networking that could be done was via resume, via phone call, via word of mouth, people you know. And if you wanted to go out and get a job, if you wanted to go out and get your name, you had to know people. And before, like, the internet was huge here in Maine, at least, it was really who you know. That's how you got into districts. It was these jobs were so competitive at times. It really became down an issue of, well, who do you know? And what has happened is that it doesn't necessarily matter so much who you know anymore, as long as you can have this very, in a way, public, professional platform that you can show. It's not just who I know, but I can very easily show you what I do, who I'm connected with, what I've done, that goes far deeper than any kind of one-page resume ever could.
Right.
So one of the things that I've found over the last couple of years, especially as my PLN has grown to heights, not heights, but to depths that I never possibly imagined.
So that's why I sorry to cut you off again, Matt. That's where I totally agree with you. And the point we want to drive to our students is a resume is almost just a piece of paper, whereas your PLN becomes who you are. You can show yourself and who you are as an educator in such a dynamic way with video,
Sure.
populated with content. So would you agree that if it's not already, someday your PLN and your professional portfolio, your blog, website will be far more valuable than what any resume can be?
Can I jump in for a second?
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead, Becca.
And then I might run upstairs to try to see if I have internet. I think a lot of it is still this expanded version of who you know. It's not just who you follow and who follows you, but also who you interact with, which is why on our PLN project we have a couple of rubric bands that are meant to evaluate the curation of followers. Are you only following Ashton Kutcher, or are you following educators who either align with or challenge your values and can help you grow, and do you interact with them?
Right.
But for EDU 300 students who are just starting out, I think a really great starting point when you're choosing who to follow would be your instructors. Some people we follow, maybe not this Matt guy. And also, really importantly, I think at this point, each other.
Yeah.
And I think most of you have followed each other. So you can really create your own microcosm, micro PLN between each other.
Yep. What's that, Amy? Go ahead.
I put all of you guys on my Twitter, I think.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Nice. And let me know if I didn't follow back.
I would not follow me. I'm still trolling Ashton, so. Yeah. So I mean, like we're saying, it is really evolved into this, and I never thought that it would be this way. I always thought that social media was going to be this thing that was just kind of between your friends. I remember an ad when Twitter was first coming out, someone was making fun of it, like, I'm sitting on my porch right now. And I think that did a lot of damage to how Twitter actually is. But what it has become, especially for educators, I don't know for other fields. I don't really know. I don't follow that. But for educators, for education, it is this platform where within a matter of moments, once you build the PLN, which encompasses the following: you follow people. That's the first step. Then you start slowly engaging in conversation. Ask a question. If you read a blog somewhere, share it out. If you say that you like this, something along those lines, very, very slowly, easily, and then you build up those relationships with those other people behind their little Twitter profile pictures. And then what you do is that starts to create, and you start to kind of create this almost pseudo Twitter identity that becomes part and parcel of what your quote-unquote brand of who you are is going to be. Not that Twitter is all about marketing, but it does become a matter of, it becomes an extension of who you are, to the fact where, like, I was at some conferences recently, and people who I had no idea who they were came up to me and said, "Hey, love your Twitter feed, and keep sending this stuff out. I follow you all the time." I'm like, "Oh, gee, thanks. I've never met you. I don't know who you are. I appreciate it."
And especially for me, Matt. Sorry to cut you off again. I'm gonna keep doing.
No, cut me off anytime.
But as a beginner, when I first started, just those resources, just hearing what people had to say, what experts had to say on topics such as project-based learning.
Oh yeah.
Or Genius Hour, or it just kind of opened my mind to the possibilities, and it got me thinking in a different way. Now I teach in Old Orchard, which is a really small community, so I find myself with a pod of usually the grade level is 3 teachers. If you teach social studies, you teach 7th grade social studies, you got yourself to rely on. So who do you talk to? How do you hear what's new, what's innovative? How do you kind of cut through the fat? Because there's so many things out there and so many people saying different things that for me it kind of helped me form, along with my local PLN, which are people I teach with in Old Orchard. It started me to open my mind up to the possibilities and to connect with people who maybe were thinking a little differently than people in Old Orchard. I mean that in a good way.
Right.
We always got to challenge our thinking and think outside the box, and we got to model what we expect for our kids. So for me as a beginner, it started to open my mind to the most incredible possibilities. It started to make me think that I can do something different in the classroom, and that was really important for me.
I totally agree with that. I remember vividly a moment where I was talking about the Ashton Kutcher thing and the streaming video, and I was really trying to figure out a way that I could get, I was teaching in the high school level, and I had a lot of absenteeism, and I was trying to figure out a way where I could connect my students to the classroom even when they were home. So it was like, school shouldn't just be based on a physical location. It should be learning should be based on that. It should be based on a process. And so Twitter, I started to follow, how do you do this? And there was an app called Ustream, and I started to investigate this more. And then I said, what if you record? Is anyone recording videos? This was back in like early 2010s, whatnot. And this brand new book had been published or so called Flip Your Classroom that I had never heard about. And I was like, what is this book? And then I find out that this guy named Salman Khan has created this thing called Khan Academy, right, where this all happened all at the same time, which gets to another great point about Twitter. There are no original ideas anymore. But the thing is, people have a lot of the same ideas at about the same time, and what Twitter is allowing us to do, it's really allowing us to communicate and say, I have this idea about something, and someone else says, oh, I have the same idea, and they're in a completely different part of the world, but they're still looking at the same problem, trying to solve the exact same thing, and they have the same kind of mindset or approach or lens that you do, and then you can work with those people to say, well, let's try to solve it through this particular lens.
Right.
And with that lens, you could then come up with a really interesting, intricate solution to something that before it might have just spun your wheels, and you would have gone deeper and deeper and deeper into the insanity that could just drive you nuts. So it's actually probably one of the best collaborative problem-solving tools that I've ever seen.
Agreed. So I think what we need to do now is we give it a nice global view of what Twitter is, what a PLN is. Matt, and Becca, agree or disagree? Would it be helpful for our beginners right now if Matt would screen share, go into his Twitter account, and just kind of walk them through the basics, what your page looks like, how you've decided on your profile picture and your little caption about yourself, and maybe just give them some tips on how to kind of filter through and start to look at some people and decide on who to follow, so that way they can start to build their PLN? Would that be a good start?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
They can do that. All right, so let me take over here.
How you feeling, Amy? Is this helpful so far?
Yeah, I think so. I agree with you guys too. I like being able to get on all these different sites and just it does really open up a lot more doors, I think, for people than what they would normally have. So I really agree, and to be able to work with other people that have the same likes and stuff and the same interests, then yeah, definitely good.
All right, so hopefully this will be helpful here. Matt can show you his Twitter page and maybe give you an opportunity to see some people he recommend you follow and get an idea how he uses Twitter.
I mean, I remember in some ways when I first started teaching feeling isolated, especially after doing ETEP and having such a tight cohort, going into a new building in a new district and not having that same bond that ETEP provided. And once I went to Ed Camp and met different teachers at Ed Camp Maine who were on Twitter and thought, well, if these people are doing it and they seem pretty cool, maybe I should do that too. And that really helped me feel less isolated as a new teacher, which I think is even more evidence in support of you guys banding together. But I totally just jumped in after running up a flight of stairs, so we can go back to Matt.
No. It's all good. You know, we kind of just were talking about the same thing too, Becca, is that the idea is that you don't have to feel like you're all alone out there. You get some people that think like you. Matt, it's all you, man. I got your screen up.
All right, good. So this is just my basic page. The profile picture was just a picture that I liked, but
we're not seeing it.
I see a Google search page.
Yeah.
Hang on. What the heck happened? Oh, I know what happened. All right, hang on.
So,
ooh, you can.
If you want, well, Billy and I already went over our pages.
We'd ask you to form with us anymore.
Time permitting.
There he is.
What is that? MDC.
See that? You like that, huh?
That's nice. What are your initials, sir?
What are my initials?
I was kidding.
I
can't quite tell.
Master of Dance and Comedy.
Oh, okay.
All right.
You got it.
Yeah, the picture, I don't know, picture I liked. And one of the things that I've gotten a lot better at over the years is the whole 140 characters business, and that's what a lot of this stuff is over here. This stuff here is just trying to give the highlights as to some of the things that either you do that are either special to you or that you want people to know. I use Twitter pretty much 99% of the time for teacher education stuff, so that's how it's basically organized. It didn't start off that way. It started off with some things that I should probably go back and eventually delete, but that's fine. I don't really care. So I use it in that way to really connect and to make sure that I'm building this kind of a digital footprint and a digital profile for myself that, like I said before, extends beyond the resume. How I use it is a couple different ways. As you can see from today, I was down at this training, and so I'm practicing and trying sketchnoting these days, and so I just shared what I do, because part and parcel, a huge part of Twitter is sharing. Once you build your PLN, once you get comfortable enough.
And can I interject real quick, Matt?
Sure, of course.
Matt was down there at this SLO training, and he was kind enough to, I tweeted out to Matt, said, will you please share some of your notes with us? And he was able to attach my principal, my assistant principal, who we're actually going through the process in OOB, grades K through 8, of creating SLOs. So hopefully they'll be able to take a look at his notes, and there'll be some assistance to them and to our staff, which is cool. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, and there's other stuff I'll put up later, but I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah. And at the same time today, I was sitting and talking with one of my colleagues about SLOs, and I will follow up with that face-to-face conversation by sharing some of these tweets from Matt. So thanks.
Yep.
Well, all right then. But so, but I also use the I have opinion or my belief in how to use Twitter in this way is this might be a little backwards, but I kind of use Twitter as a testing ground for some ideas sometimes, and some thoughts that I have because I feel like I've built up enough over time and over enough conversation. I've built up enough where I can ask people, hey, what do you think about this idea? So I can do some iteration, I can do some testing of some ideas and thoughts here, work out some of the kinks, and then bring them back to my teachers in my district to say, this is not just a random idea that I came up with. I've already kind of vetted this a little bit. Whereas a lot of other people might consider, well, putting something out into public that's not necessarily developed as scary or terrifying or as kind of backwards. I see it as that's how you grow. And I'm very willing to publicly fall on my face and to make mistakes. And so that's one of the ways that I use Twitter. It's a little bit different than some other education folks. You're only going to see their most polished product. With me, you're going to see what I have. You're going to see what I'm thinking. Sometimes too much in the moment. Oh, Becca's having a meta moment now.
Becca. So Matt, let's just say for someone like Amy, she's new, she's checking you out. For some reason, she finds you're interesting. I don't know why she would find you interesting, but she says, okay, I like this Matt guy. He's into design thinking. I've heard about design thinking, and I want to know a little more. So let's just say you're Amy right now, and she's looking at your page. Could you show her how she go check out some people you're following? Because if you see in their tagline, like Matt has, design thinker, if you see something that's appealing to you and you want to know more, we'd recommend going to see who they're following, who follows them, and just kind of look through those people and start to see if other people are of interest for you to follow.
Absolutely. So this is the link right here of everyone who I am following is right here. So you can go in and see. And I think it's organized by when you chose to follow them. So
it is.
So if I were to go down all the way to the beginning, I won't do it because it's terrible. I'm following 1,000 people right now, right. Which is a lot of people. I'm just realizing. Then like the first person I followed was Dave Matthews because I'm a huge Dave Matthews fan. But this is how you can kind of go through and see, well, who is he following? Do I know these people? And honestly, this is also where you want to you can do some quick vetting of who you might want to follow. If they, you want to follow this person here who doesn't have anything in their thing here and is the egg. This is a person who I know personally, but you might not want to follow. And sorry, Ann, don't mean to upset you here. This is all public. But then you might want to come down and see Digital Learning Day. I'm into digital stuff. I'm into digital learning day. I'm interested in that. I would want to find that out. The other thing to think about is if you see like Billy, you said Matt's into design thinking. I'm not really seeing anything on design thinking here. Where's the design thinkers? How would I find those people? That's where you come up to here and just do a search for design thinking. Yeah. And all of a sudden, even before I even pressed enter, it knows what I'm thinking, but then it brings up these options of all these different design thinking components. And if you just click the word design thinking, it will bring up, when it decides to, anyone who said anything about design thinking basically ever. So you want to learn about it? IDEO? You don't know? They're a global design company. They're one of the leaders in design thinking. Maybe that's who I want to follow. You could then go back into my thing and find out I'm following IDEO. And you'll see that. Also over here, these are people who I might want to follow. I'm kind of all over the map right now.
Pro football rumors. You trying to like brush up on fantasy football? Probably could use some of that, right, Matt?
Are you really bringing this up? Are you really bringing this up?
No.
Not here, not now.
Uh,
Sorry, Amy. See, here's the thing. Our PLN, we know each other too well.
But that's another. Hang on. That's another thing that has happened as a result of. How do we get out? How do we get out?
Me?
oh, he just shut it. He totally just shut himself off.
Anyway, Amy, is this helpful at all?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I know. Oh, I know we're a little bit ridiculous. We can rein it in a bit. What would be the most helpful for you?
Sorry.
You know what? I don't know right now.
You just soaking it in?
Yeah, I'm trying to soak it all in.
Cool.
This is all this is all new to me, but I'm absolutely loving this whole entire class. So,
Good.
and just learning about all these different social medias that were here, but I never knew existed until I took this class. So it's kind of interesting and fun, and I appreciate it. So.
Are you? So you have your tweet with nothing to say.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with the basic functionality of Twitter? Like how to reply to somebody or...
Yes. The only thing that I was still having a hard time with is an actual getting into a Twitter chat. I found that I had a hard time with that. I tried to do that last night, I think, and I think I got in for like a second, and then I got off on some other thing, and then by the time I got back to it, it was already over with. So I kind of missed out on it.
And last night was a really fast chat. We had Kristen Zemke on, who's got like 12,000 followers. And sometimes when you have a guest moderator who has that many followers, you tend to have a lot of participants. And so we know a couple other students from our class joined in, and we're a little overwhelmed. So that's why we go ahead and we archive the chat, so you can go back and look at the resources later. And also understand that even for veterans like myself and Becca and Matt, who do a lot of chats, they can be overwhelming when they're that quick. So the best thing to do is just kind of is to use TweetDeck. We could show her TweetDeck. I don't know if we want to go into that right now, but just understand that it's good. You know, you get your feet wet. I went through lurking my first couple chats, meaning I didn't participate. I just followed that hashtag, and I just saw, hey, let's see what this looks like. What is it, chat? And how do people chat? And then it came to the point where I don't remember when. I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna jump in tonight, and I'm going to chat because I felt like I felt comfortable after watching the few. So just understand that no pressure to chat. Although, you know, when you feel you're ready, you could hop into one. What do you think, Becca?
Absolutely. And Amy, just to be clear, the chat's not an exclusive you get in kind of club. So if you want to join the chat, feel free to join the chat. The best way is to just find the hashtag, right? And see what the moderator is saying. So those are the tweets you'll see with Q1, right? That's question 1. You can even search EdChat main Q1 to find the first question. Can I share my screen for a minute?
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it.
You're gonna show TweetDeck?
I was just going to go with regular old Twitter for now.
Go for it.
Although I can also then click over to TweetDeck. How are you holding up, Matt?
I'm good. I accidentally pressed something on my toolbar a minute ago that sent me to Netflix. So I was like, no. So that's why I'm back. I had a momentary lapse of mouse clicking.
I understand it happens. All right. So Twitter.
And I've recently been using my phone to tweet.
You tweet?
Yeah, I am a twit. I've been recently using my phone because of just timing. My 3-year-old is having trouble going to sleep. She's been sick a lot the last few weeks, and so in her room I'm just like on my phone because I can't get the whole computer up. Either way, it works. And with the chat, it was fast last night. My very first Twitter chat was, like I said, SBL chat, which is standards-based learning. And I just remember getting into it, and I just kind of jumped in, but I got overwhelmed really quickly because it was super fast. But then I just said, well, I'm going to follow the conversations that I want.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to read and respond to everything.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when I first started, it looked like Mission Command. I had my laptop and I had my iPad and my phone, and I was trying to keep up. I did find that TweetDeck definitely helped, and I'll show you that in a minute, Amy. And everybody else, just to try to figure out where the chat is on a Monday night, if you search Q1, hopefully this will pull up. Right, so here's Kristen's first question from last night that others retweeted to be helpful. Q1, what tools of technology are available to you and your students? And then you'll see that others will respond accordingly with A1. So these are all of the different responses from that one question last night. And I see so many amazing people who I love to work with, and I feel even worse about falling asleep. Wow, it was a good one last night.
Yeah, it was really good.
Another tool I use, Amy, that helps is an app called TweetDeck, and I believe is it tweetdeck.twitter.com?
That is correct.
Okay.
All right, I'm logged in elsewhere, but TweetDeck allows you to disaggregate all of the data, so you can see.
I got it right here, Becca.
Am I back?
You guys seeing that? I just popped mine up.
Yeah.
Wait, is it yours or mine?
That's mine right now. I screen shared myself. Can you see? You can talk through it though. Go ahead. Keep going.
No, this is mine.
Oh, my bad.
Whoa!
Let's stop screen sharing. Oh, whoa! Here we go.
We broke the internet! The four of us, we broke it!
So you'll see here I have my home page, right? And so those are all of the tweets from everybody I follow coming in real time. In the second column, I keep the notifications so that on the off chance somebody mentions me or follows me or retweets me, I'm aware of that ASAP. And then this third column is my EdChat main column, which I find so helpful, especially when the live chat is taking place, because instead of sorting the discussion out of all of the other tweets in my feed, it all just collects right here in this one column.
Yeah.
And again, this column can populate super, super quickly during one of those fast chats, but I still find it's better to have it all in one place.
Yeah.
Than mixed in with everything else, especially now that Twitter has been putting in way more advertisements than it used to be.
Yeah.
And you'll see here I have my EDU 300 list, so you guys are all there. And then it goes on and on with all of the different ed-related topics that I care about.
Yeah.
So that, Amy, could be a really helpful tool as a new to Twitter person or as an experienced tweet. I find TweetDeck is something I really rely on to keep me sane.
Can you show, Becca, can you show how to move columns?
Sure. I could even add a column. What's a good column? So EdCamp Western Maine was last weekend. So I searched for that hashtag. Here are all the tweets about EdCamp Western Maine. I'm going to hit add column. And it's going to go way down here. But that's much more important to me. So I can go over here and see this is all of the columns that are going horizontally in a vertical list. So if I go all the way down, I can find that EdCamp Western Maine column and drag it up to a more prioritized position. Does Does that make sense, Amy? Amy?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, just making sure that you're with me. So these are some TweetDeck basics there. I'm going to jump out. Let's see. What else, guys, should we go over? I know.
Maybe get to if Matt could just show us. I'm looking at the time. It's 5:10. Amy, since you're here with us, what did you choose for your platform for the professional blog portfolio? Did you choose one?
I used you mean for like the website type?
Yeah, the website.
In blog, Weebly.com.
Beautiful. Matt, do you want to screen share and show us Weebly?
I'm on it.
All right. And Amy, that's what I use for my website as well with my kids. I love Weebly.
All right, that's an old picture.
I love Weebly too, but I use Squarespace partially because my hosting and domain was a gift. But I also find it really easy to use and it looks sleek and professional. But if I were to do it on my own with, financial restrictions, I would go Weebly 100%.
Yep.
Yeah, I do like Weebly. I find that the ways to do it are clean. You can have a splash page, you can have a blog, where this is sure I'll go back to there in a second. So the last one I wrote was on January 6th a while ago, and I write about what I like or what I think, and also I use it intentionally to also kind of expand my professional profile. Because one of the things that's really important right now for people when they're trying to either create a digital profile or they're trying to create some kind of a digital footprint is to have created content. And Twitter is great for microblogging, but you kind of have to put on more than that so that people can quickly and easily see who you are, what you're thinking. And so I've just been writing about a lot of the work that I do, which is leadership, proficiency-based learning, and stuff that we do, SLOs, stuff that I did a while back in September. And I put some other things up here about me and where I'm going to be, where I'm either speaking or meetings that I'm attending that people can find me at. And what I really like about Weebly, which you're using, is it's very clean, it's very easy, and it's very customizable.
Stalkers welcome. That is so
funny.
So Matt, one of the concerns we had, I don't know if I'd call it a concern, but questions we had was, okay, it's set up now. Now what do we do? How do we populate this? What do you want us to do with it? I guess what we want you to know, Amy, is like, hey, this will evolve over time. Becca and I will have you do some reflecting from week to week and from module to module. But just understand, we just wanted you guys this couple weeks to take some time to see what a PLN was, investigate websites, and get those structures set up so you'd be set to go and be comfortable to kind of create your digital footprint.
As I said in my overview last night, what we really want, I think, to emphasize right now is the blog and reflection element, and have you guys see the blog as a place where in the upcoming modules we'll be asking you to think critically about tech integration frameworks or use different student response apps, use different digital storytelling apps. And your blog, regardless of platform, is where you'll be sharing the work you've done, right? So say you create a quiz in Kahoot and you want to share it. You can share the link there, and in the blog write your rationale about why you chose that tool and how you either feel it could work with students, or if you are in a classroom, how it was received by students, things you could improve, and your reflection on actually using the tool. Right. So the blogging will be a place for you to share what you've created and reflect on how you've used it. Does that make sense?
And I ask my students to do a ton of reflecting. So, again, we got to be models for our students at all times. And I often go onto my own website and I'll show students blogs that I've created, and I want them to see. I'm not asking them to do something that I wouldn't expect of myself.
Right.
In future employers, this is where it's at. I mean, you've got to have a digital footprint that shows the teacher you are. It shows that you're reflective, and students are going to. I know a lot. At least my third graders have now, but a lot of teachers are moving to digital portfolios.
Yep.
And the idea of being able to show growth over time and show mastery of concepts, and just like Becca said, a place to reflect and think about your learning and show your learning. And websites and blogs are where it's at.
And I've said this to individual students, this is where I'm going to make a pledge to EDU 300 because I need to be better about blogging. It's always in my head, I'm reflecting all the time, but translating that to paper or my website, sometimes that doesn't happen. This is where I pledge to you guys that I will blog with you through the course of the semester to be an appropriate model, and because it's good for my practice anyway. So that's my commitment.
I'm on board too. So Amy, I guess the answer to this is, hey, you've got the structure set up. Now your creativity are the only limitations. You can make this space what you want, and it will grow over time. And now you have that spot that will hopefully be there forever and always. And you know, as you grow as a student and as you become more comfortable, you'll start to think of creative ways you can use your blog and your website to, you know, capture who you are as an educator.
Yeah, I think it's really important too to remember that the blog and all that other stuff, it's really specifically for you. It's for no one else. It is for you, and I'm not necessarily doing it just to increase my profile and to make myself more marketable, to get a better job. That's not why I'm doing it. I do it all because I want to be more well-rounded. I want to have better. I want to think better. I want to be able to better communicate to my staff what I want to do, what we're trying to accomplish, and this is helping to actually really focus a lot of the work that I do. So it's really helping in that way. And I will say too that as a district administrator, evil admin, the horns. One of the things that administrators are looking at is digital footprint, and so we want to see what it is that you're writing, what it is that you're saying out there. But I will say this too: be okay with taking a chance with what you write and with what you put out there, because if you're honest with your writing, if you come from a place of just exploring or ideating or creating something or saying even that's like, I don't know what this is. Does anybody know what this is? And if no one responds, you've now put it out there, which will help you problem solve it. And that's been so therapeutic for me, that I'm just have all these ideas in my head, and as soon as I put them out there, I'm like, oh, well, now I've put it out there, I can kind of relax, and now I can focus better. So it is a very good tool for that, I found.
And especially too, the one that I think that I've found is that transparency aspect that you're talking about, Matt, is that I feel like in my room's a little different from other rooms. So for me, it's important for me to be transparent about the purpose of my room and my philosophies of teaching and the type of experience that their children are receiving in my room. I wrote this blog series for parents, and for me to organize my thoughts and reflect about my room and what it looks like. So recently, that's why I started to get back into blogging, and my blogging has evolved. Before, when I first started, I'm like, this is how you make a YouTube channel, and this is how you do that, and it started to evolve into more of like, hey, who am I as a teacher, and what am I all about? And let me take some time to think about that and put it out there so people can see and learn from that experience, and I can get some feedback and maybe make myself a better teacher as well.
Although I think honestly, when it comes to transparency, I have you guys beat. Check this out, Amy. Talk about transparent classroom. You don't get any more transparent than that. Glass wall. I might need to go soon because I hear some sort of power tool in a classroom nearby, so it might get noisy around here. But
well, I think that would feel good. Amy, this is your show. You got any questions for Matt or us? And are you feeling good?
I think it's good. I think everything you guys have told me so far has helped me. I think it's going to help me out quite a bit. I only have one other question. Um, I run a study center. That's where I'm at right now. You guys can check out the back. It's probably noisy back here, but I where I work, they already have a pre-existing blog. Is it possible? Can I put a link button in my website to that blog that's already pre-existing and work on that as well, or?
For sure. For sure. Hey, Amy, are you going to be around next week? Would you be able to make it down to down to USM for that workshop that we're going to be providing? That's the type of stuff we can do. Or otherwise, what we can do is we could set up maybe a more private Google Hangout, and I could screen share Weebly because I'm a Weebly user, and I could walk you through some of that.
Okay.
Totally up to you.
What day is it again, or will it be on? It'll be on the Classroom, Google Classroom, right?
Correct.
Workshop?
Yeah, actually, Beck and I we're about to talk about that and set that date in stone right now.
Okay.
While you're here, is there a day that would work for you? We'll work around your schedule since you joined us tonight. Is there a day that works well for you next week, or?
Any day's good. It's all good. I'll figure out. We'll work around it. It's good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm pretty open as well, Billy. I don't have too many plans.
All right. Well, guess what? Beck and I will chat. We'll text here, and then we'll lock that in and post it on Google Classroom. But for now, we feel comfortable to wrap up. Amy, no more questions?
Yep. I appreciate that.
Matt, do you have any final words as you are our guest rock star?
Yeah, I'm not a rock star. I'm more of like a producer. I'm more like Rick Rubin or Quincy Jones. I want to have that kind of thing where you might not know me by recognizing me, but you'll know my influence. You'll hear it. When you read the stuff, you'll oh, that's a Matt thing. That's a Matt thing, totally. That's my dream. So I don't know if I'll be a rock star, but the puppet master behind the scenes, yeah. Because again, evil. No. Thanks for having me. I love talking about this stuff. Good luck to y'all in the class. And if there's anything I can do to help, when you're out there on Twitter, as you're out there on Twitter doing one of these chats, follow the people in the chat, and then watch your stream, watch it build, and then go slow and go with what you're comfortable. But then when you feel ready, take a jump. Take a step.
Great advice. So, on behalf of EDU 300, Matt, thank you for joining us, man. That was great.
Thank you, Matt.
A lot of great advice.
All right, Billy, you ready to wrap this up?
Yeah, we're done. Do we need any closing remarks here, or what's up? We good?
I'm feeling pretty good. We can chat about a time next week. And to any of you, let me know if there's anything you need. And I'm going to go spend a couple more hours here at work.
Boom.
All right.
See you guys. We're going to stop the broadcast.